Let's be honest right out of the gates here. Today's episode will more than likely see us clinch a playoff spot yet again, potentially a division title, potentially a President's Trophy yet again. We all know that it's down to what happens in the playoffs with this team. Now, we did see another off-season of change, bringing in a couple of new recruits and sending Logan Couture to the glue factory. Vitaly Kravtsov now on that second line. Of course, the bottom six has changed quite a bit. Perhaps controversial, but we're going to start off with Riley Tufte being on the fourth line. Again, he is on just a steal of a contract for someone of his abilities, but I am emphasizing the development of Perfetti, Ellison, and Foudy. Mainly Ellison at 23 years old. Despite him being listed as a fourth liner, I don't want to play him there. I want to see if we can get that overall up just a little bit higher. And then defensively, of course, the big addition of Thomas Chabot, who will be on that top pairing over Erik Karlsson. Perhaps controversial, but Karlsson is 35 years old. Now, the power play, though, is still just phenomenal. Pasternak, Hertl, Meyer, Karlsson, Chabot. That's insane. And Erik will obviously make up some points there. The second unit of Gambrell, Perfetti, Kravtsov, Sillinger, and I threw Riley Tufte in there as well, so he'll get a little bit of extra playing time. Our power play should be ridiculous. The penalty kill should be ridiculous with some of the options that we have in the bottom six. And then again, goaltending-wise, we're still set up very well. Henrik Gustafsson is here. We'll see how good Vyacheslav Alexiev is as the backup goaltender. Again, if he can't get the job done, Jesper Eliasson is there. And actually, to take a quick look at the AHL before we get to something that needs to be addressed before the simming begins. Of course, we do have some names to pay attention to. John DePenta, time will tell if he ever makes it. Willie Fratton, of course, is getting very close, but didn't have much development last year. Francois Valcourt, also there, as well as Mason Perreault, the 19-year-old, and Jukka Hervinen. So we do have some names and faces to pay attention to. Ariel Hewson and one Per Hoagland as well on the defensive side of things. And Per Tellqvist, who is also, another solid option in goal that hopefully we never have to use. So that brings me to this, because we do not currently have a captain after trading Logan Couture. And we need to decide just who the hell is leading this team in the future, although it did give the captaincy to Erik Karlsson, which, I don't hate. I don't hate it. Maybe have Karlsson be the short-term leader of the team, and then once he's gone, we decide who gets it between the likes of Hertl. I mean, it's probably going to be Hertl and Meyer that I give the letters to, let's be honest. I mean, the longest tenured Sharks alongside Dylan Gambrell, Noah Gregor in this series. If you're factoring in who was on the starting team, of course, certain people have been on this roster for a little bit longer. I think I'm going to leave Erik Karlsson as the captain. Otherwise, Tim Heed. Clearly it would have to be Tim Heed. So with that, let's get down to business. Let's see what this team's capable of. If we bring in Radko Gudas as an extra depth defenseman for the AHL, just in case, although I don't need to get him into the lineup. So overall, again, expectations for the regular season, quite high. This should be another fantastic year for us. It's just what's going to happen when we get to the playoffs. Nobody knows. We start off our season against the Vancouver Canucks. As you see the ratings for us, 98 offense, 91 defense, a little bit lower than I would have thought. That third pairing obviously dragging it down. And then 85 in goaltending. With an offense, of that caliber, there's no denying where we should be by the end of this year. Anything less than some form of home ice advantage would be shocking. Legitimately shocking if we finish third in the division or in a wild card spot, let alone outside of the playoffs. And if we continue to struggle against the Vancouver Canucks, you never know. We might end up being on the outside looking in by the time it's all said and done this season. So very intrigued to see how Thomas Chabot does. Very intrigued to see how Vitaly Kravtsov does. Erik Karlsson as well on that second pairing. And Kravtsov's already complaining about ice time. Right. Well, let's try to persuade you. Why the hell not? There you go, Vitaly. Way to go. You just signed here. maybe don't start whining 2.5 weeks into the season. Oh, Riley Tufte, Jesus Christ. Must we, fellas? Must we? You just got here. Riley, you are lucky that you even have a job. I mean, somebody would have signed you. You're lucky you're on this team because you have a first-round playoff exit to look forward to, don't you? As the Edmonton Oilers fired the head coach. So not an ideal opening month, technically 7-6 in total, but 7-5-1. However, we were still in second place in the division. Tomas Hertl leading this team in points, 14 in 13 games. So the offense perhaps not where you would expect it to be thus far. A quick look at the goaltending. Gustafson's been okay. Alexiev's only gotten one start, and he was shelled. Of course, when you look at this team, you can look at Sillinger and be like, second liner. He has a lot to prove. Otherwise, we could go out and get a little bit of extra help. But that second line has been pretty quiet. Then again, David Pastrnak only has 9 points. So, like I said, the offense hasn't quite been as prolific as one would have expected. So, fingers crossed here that we are able to turn it on through the next month or so and into the rest of the season. So November. How will we do? Off to a decent start, and then Erik Karlsson gets a slight injury. Tim Heed to the power play. My boy Tim Heed to the power play as we are continuing to win games. Let's get Erik Karlsson back in there. Heed had 1 point in one game. Who are you to doubt Tim Heed? That's right. You shouldn't. Karlsson's back. Let's see what happens here down the middle games of the month. And we are on a roll. Good God. We finally lose to Chicago. But I'd say the offense showed up during that stretch of games. Fortunately, we've lost 2 in a row. 11-1. Oh, boy, Arizona. What happened? Arizona. What happened? How did that happen? Good Lord. Those poor Coyotes, who I think have won a Stanley Cup throughout the course of this series, even though we haven't. So, I mean, I guess I can't have too much sympathy in their favor. 17-8-2 as of the start of the month. Tomas Hertl is killing it, but we are not in first place. The Vegas Golden Knights giving us some competition, but very good. 21-21 through 27 games for Tomas Hertl. Timo Meier absolutely killing it, and David Pastrnak killing it as well. So that top line woke up. That was the key. Vitaly Kravtsov has 19 goals. No real complaints about anybody there. The third line, Connor Ellison's struggling a little bit. Riley Tufte is doing pretty well. And we could make that change. I won't yet, though. We'll see if they can wake up a little bit. Noah Hannafin. I mean, 11 points isn't too bad, considering he doesn't have power play time. Shabbat with 19 points. Erik Karlsson is still killing it. He's going back to the top unit. Matthew Benning up to an 80, next to Ty Foligno. And then goaltending-wise, Gustafsson killing it. Alexiev, not so much. I'm going to give him one more month as the backup goaltender. If he can't get it done, Eliasson will come in, and we will send Alexiev down to the AHL if we can, which would give us a pretty nice 1-2 punch for the Barracuda. We start off the month with a nice shutout victory over the Flyers. Lose to the Winnipeg Jets. Anytime you say something positive, something negative immediately happens. But that is okay. We snap that losing streak. Winning record on the month up to 20 wins. Still behind the Golden Knights, though. We do play them in a little bit over a week. They have a game at hand, though, currently. As we beat Tampa, beat Toronto for a third straight win. Big early game here against Vegas, and we lose. Then we play Vancouver, and we lose. That bodes well for us in the postseason. 24-14-2. 24-14-2. 7 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. And just a point above the Canucks, although they have a game at hand. So, not exactly off to a flying start here. if I had to label it. Gustafsson had a rough month. Alexiev barely played. Auto-rotate goalies, that is still on. Just not being used. So, we're going to make that change there because it'll better suit Alexiev to get a little bit more playing time, if not outright be the starter in the AHL. So, Jesper Eliasson, congratulations. You are now the backup as of January 1st, 2026. So, Eliasson, you're good to go down to the AHL. Telkovich is already up to a 74, so I actually feel kind of bad about this, but again, as a 1-2 punch, that's a pretty strong AHL tandem. So, I expect a decent playoff run from the Barracuda. They are currently outside of the playoff structure. Yikes. Maybe I should change my expectations. Let's sim through January. Of course, not as busy of a month because of the totally not the All-Star break that happens at the end. But we'll see if we can close the gap on Vegas as Erik Karlsson goes down to injury for the second time this season. He'll be out for about 2 weeks. I do not want Brett Connolly in 2026. Thank you very much. As we beat the Yotes after getting crushed by the Flames. Wins over Florida and the Rangers, and that sees the return of Erik Karlsson. Tim Heed. Yeah, not bad. Averaging 24 minutes a night, that Tim Heed. What a guy. You cannot escape the Heed. Don't you forget about Heed. Don't you do it. Marcus Sorensen down to injury. That's unfortunate. We are continuing to win games, which means we're going to lose or not. We actually beat Dallas for once before losing to the Hurricanes and the Blue Jackets. Unfortunate. Final game of the month against Nashville, and that is a win. So 31-17-2. As of the break, we are going to be in third in the division, if I am not mistaken. We have a decent record. Doesn't mean much, though. We're behind the Canucks and decently behind the Golden Knights as the Pacific Division continues to just be stacked. The Ducks are right there, too. It's a very tough division to deal with. Timo Meier, killing it. No complaints. Tomas Hertl, pretty much killing it. No complaints. Pasternak, over point a game. No complaints. Vitaly Kravtsov has 32 goals. No complaints. 44 points for Dylan Gambrell. Very good. And 40 points for Cole Sillinger. You can't say he's not been up to the task of being a second liner. He's been great. Third line, Cole Perfetti, 27 points. Tremendous for a third liner. Connor Ellison has gone up to a third line forward, but from a point production standpoint, it just hasn't been there, which is very odd because he is one of the most complete two-ways you could possibly have. Jean-Luc Foudy with 21 points on a decent pace. Tufty doing very well with 28 points. Gregor with 14 and 10 for Tony Heinonen. I have no complaints about any of the forwards. And then defensively, 13 points for Hannafin next to the 40 points in 46 games of Erik Karlsson. You have 17 points for Darnell Nurse next to Thomas Chabot, who has not been as much of an offensive force as I would have thought. And then Foligno and Bennon have been a great pairing. Not a big point production pairing, but that's fine. Goaltending-wise, Gustafsson needs to be better. That's the only way to put it. If our goaltending performs at a slightly higher level, this team is in first place and is potentially cruising their way toward another President's Trophy. Now, I just looked at the roster. There's nothing I want to change. There's nothing I want to change. I've done it in the past where we've gone out and acquired some names and pushed some younger players down the depth chart, and it didn't work in the playoffs. We're going to trust the youth that we have. For better or worse, we're sticking with them. I mean, I'll probably take a look in 2 weeks. I mean, I know if I sim to the deadline, I'm going to miss out on some trades, but really, there isn't anybody I was concerned about. There really wasn't. I think we're going to be fine, all things considered. I mean, yeah, could we technically make the third pairing better? Sure. Is that going to do much? Probably not. Could we technically get a better second line guy in terms of overall than Sillinger? Sure, but Sillinger's doing very well. Could we get a replacement for Ellison? Sure, but we could also just bump up Riley Tufte. So I really don't hate this team. I don't hate the depth that we have. And I think we can trust this team. I think we should trust this team heading into the playoffs. Although the AHL roster is currently falling apart. And it's a little bit of an issue. So Alexiev is back. Let's take a look at getting him back into the lineup. So sorry to one Mikko Koskinen, but hey, you're out of here, bud. And then scratch players, we have nobody to worry about. Perfect. So, one game left before the deadline. It's against the Los Angeles Kings. It is a win. So as of the deadline, third place in the division. A little bit behind the pace of the Canucks and the Golden Knights. So one more look at this team. Although, again, I think we just roll with it. Starting off with the goaltending, Gustafsson's our guy. I know that save percentage isn't great. Gustafsson's our guy. Could look for a better backup goalie, I suppose. But, I mean, Eliasson has proven that he can be pretty solid. He has a career .915 save percentage through 17 games. It's not too bad for a backup. I think we trust him. Worst case scenario, Alexiev's there too. I think that would just be shuffling deck chairs to get a quote-unquote improvement there. Noah Hannafin. You know, I don't know if he's long for this team after this season, but he's probably worth keeping because, again, we can play him as a two-way, a DFD, an OFD. Maybe not an OFD, but he's versatile. He's not the biggest point producer in the world, but, again, he also doesn't have power play time, so consider that. Carlson, still killing it. Darnell Nurse doing very well. Thomas Chabot doing very well. I have no complaints about that defense whatsoever. Again, we could move Nurse or Hannafin to try and bring in somebody of a higher overall, but that's just shuffling deck chairs. I really don't think it's going to play into the RNG shining upon us. I really don't. We've done very well. Like I said, Darnell Nurse is probably gone at the end of this year, too. Expiring contract for him. Forward-wise, Timo Meier, killing it. Hurdle, killing it. Pasternak, killing it. Well, maybe not killing it. 37 goals for Kravtsov. I see no reason to make any changes. Connor Ellison's the only guy I'm worried about. And even then, I'm not that worried about him. Because we have other options that could be bumped up. I'm sticking with this team. I am absolutely sticking with this team. That's just not a debate to me. I mean, we can take a quick look to see who's out there, but like I said, for me, it's just either an example of shuffling deck chairs by just bringing in someone because they're simply higher rated, or it's a matter of, you know, bumping lower prospects out of the way. And for what reason? Danton Heinen, Jesus Christmas. You doing really well this year? He's doing pretty well. You know what? No, I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. I don't even want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. Our team is set. We're going to see what the hell they can do. We set this team up for success in the off season, and damn it, we're sticking with it because there isn't anybody who is underperforming to such a ridiculous extent that a change is absolutely necessary. Perhaps with the exception of Ellison on the third line. But obviously, as you saw, we have fourth line options. We have players down in the AHL that we could call up. So it's really not that big of a deal. Hervinen is a right wing, which means Gustav Nyquist likely replaced him. So sorry to the Gustav, but you gots to go. We'll see what happens here. We got a game coming up against the Canucks again after they just beat us 5-4. God forbid we run into them in the playoffs. I will be super scared. We do beat them. We lose to Chicago. Win-loss isn't helping us right now, but we are in second place in the division. This is going to be a gigantic game against the Golden Knights, and it might be our last chance to try and close the distance on them, as they have a game at hand and are 8 points clear. They've already clinched a playoff spot. Our only chance of catching Vegas is to win here, win on the 6th, and just keep winning in general. If not, we're hoping for second at best. We do beat them. We do beat them. So, this is going to be a pretty close race after all. 97 points after 75 games. Good amount of separation ahead of the Ducks and the Canucks. The question is, can we catch Vegas? We're playing a very poor Edmonton team. The second half of a back-to-back, and we win 7-0. That is tremendous. But can we catch Vegas? We're 4 points back. They have a game at hand. Can we beat the Kings, who are currently in a wild card spot? 8-2 final. We have clinched a playoff spot again, to the surprise of nobody. And while the Golden Knights do have a game at hand, we're just 2 points back. Can we beat a very good Ducks team? We have 10 points on them. They do have a game at hand. We can. 4-2. 2 games at hand on the Golden Knights, but we are even in points and pretty much guaranteed to finish in second at least in this division, which means we're going to accomplish our goal of having home ice in the first round. We take on a meh Coyotes squad and win 4-2. This is ridiculous, as the Golden Knights should be making up games here. We play the Ducks again. We are 2 points back of Vegas with 3 games to go, 10 points clear of Anaheim. So all the Ducks can do here is just screw us out of getting that top seed. Otherwise, we're looking at facing them or Vancouver in the first round. So can we beat Anaheim? Yes, we can. In the shootout, did Vegas win? They did not. We are currently atop the Pacific via tiebreaker. We have 2 games left this season, as do the Golden Knights, and the season finale is against Vegas in Vegas. It's our final home game of the season. Can we beat the Oilers again? Erik Karlsson breaks his goddamn leg.